Mommy and daddy's divorced, and a divorced mom pretty much got nothing. I'm not going to leave my mom by herself. So I'm going to make sure my mother's taken care of. None of my siblings have helped me take care of my mother to make sure she was okay, except for Tamar. No one said,
This is before Vincent.
Before Vincent. Mommy's car insurance is due. Let's help Toni with mommy car insurance.
Or mommy needs a car.
Normally, I would never have a conversation with Trina or any of my sisters about helping out financially with my mom. But because I'm so stressed in that category, I needed to let her know what I felt. Hurts my feelings every day. My feelings are hurt every day because I'm in a financial situation myself because I can't work the way I like to work.
It looks like Tamar Braxton just blasted her own sister in the wildest way, and things are spinning out fast. A twist nobody even guessed is now out in the open because Tamar is accusing Toni Braxton of trying to take money that wasn't hers, and the so-called receipts are piling up loud. We're talking secret bank moves, quiet account shifts, and a bankruptcy situation Toni allegedly tried to keep hidden. What makes it even messier is how Tamar found out. According to insiders, this wasn't some random discovery. Toni's own bank reportedly flagged suspicious activity connected to Tamar's funds, and that's when everything exploded. Tamar is now calling her sister a liar, a manipulator, and someone who crossed a serious line, which has everybody asking how this went from family love to straight sabotage. So here's where it gets serious. For years, the whispers about Toni's money issues have been floating around. Old bankruptcy cases, unpaid debts, court fights. Her financial world has always been complicated, but nobody expected things to hit this level of messy with her own sister involved. According to what insiders are saying, Tamar recently learned that Toni allegedly tried to make a slick move behind her back, and not just any move. She supposedly tried to tap into Tamar's money stream without saying a word.
My family, most of the time, I don't like my family. Everyone in my family.
Take a breath.
Everybody. I feel like I'm angry at everybody in my family. I don't like my family. If they weren't my family, it wouldn't be my friends.
Tamar is furious, Toni is silent, and the whole situation is spiraling in real time. If you catch the vibe, Tamar is not someone to test when it comes to her money, and she made that crystal clear. Multiple sources are now saying she completely snapped after finding out what Toni allegedly pulled, and things got serious fast. We're talking legal threats, talk about calling authorities, and a whole storm of anger that nobody could ignore. Anyone who's watched the Braxton family for years already knows the tension between the sisters has been boiling for a long time. Tamar has bumped heads with almost everybody at one point, so if Toni really did something behind her back, this might be the moment that finally made everything explode. But one thing about Tamar is that she never stays quiet when she feels disrespected. She speaks up loud, clear, and with no filter, and she's been telling people that what Toni did wasn't just wrong, it was straight sneaky. And when it comes to Toni, people close to the family say she's been struggling financially because she's always taken on the role of trying to hold everybody together. That pressure has been on her for years. But the other side of that story is her expensive taste, which has followed her for a long time. We're talking private jets, luxury brands, huge homes, fancy trips, the full superstar lifestyle. Toni has always loved the finer things, and she has never been shy about chasing them. So when money started getting tight, instead of cutting back, it seems like she may have started looking for ways to keep that same lifestyle going. And if the insider talk is true, she might have crossed a line with her own sister to protect that image, which is exactly why Tamar is so heated right now. But here's where things get even heavier. Toni has also been the one covering their mom's bills for years, and she admitted that herself. She opened up before, saying she had to step in because nobody else was fully taking care of it. She did mention that Tamar helped out here and there, but according to what's been said, most of that responsibility still landed on Toni's shoulders, and it stayed there. So when you mix the pressure of caring for their mom with trying to keep up that luxury lifestyle, you can see how everything might have spiraled fast. And when you add in Toni's already pricey taste plus their mom's expensive needs, it becomes clear why Toni has been struggling to stay above water. According to what's been going around behind the scenes, she allegedly got dangerously close to running out of money, and that's when things took a sharp turn. That's when insiders say she supposedly started dipping into Tamar's money stream, and nobody still knows exactly how she pulled that off. But whatever she did clearly crossed a major line because once Tamar found out, she didn't waste a second before reacting. She went straight into full protective mode because she is not someone you play with when it comes to her finances. And here's the part that shocked people the most. Toni hasn't really kept her feelings about her sisters a secret. In one interview, she openly admitted that most of the time she doesn't even like them. Not just gets frustrated with them, but genuinely does not like them. Point blank. Hearing something like that just adds even more heat to what's already a messy situation. So, if there was already tension simmering between them, this money drama didn't just add pressure. It blew everything wide open. And that's before you even get into how Tamar has been calling Toni out in public more than once. She's aired out plenty on social media, including one post where she wrote, "None. The gaslighting is crazy and I'm going back into treatment, but I'm so mad at my life. My family is toxic. I should have never went back to Braxton family values. Never. I'm going through it. I'm single and sad, and this TV step is a lot." That post alone had everybody staring at their screens. And that wasn't even half of it, because Tamar has Toni blocked half the time, and the internet saw that firsthand. Last year on Tamar's birthday, Toni posted, "Wanted to repost the gorgeous picture of you, but I'm blocked again anyways. Happy birthday, Tay." Tamar didn't let that slide for even a second. She clapped back saying, "I blocked my sisters all the time. You work on my nerves. She get it blocked." Then she went right under Toni's post again and hit her with, "Or you could have called gaslighting." And she still wasn't done. Tamar added another message that had everybody talking. "Y'all gonna stop playing with me? It's my birthday." The whole situation turned into a straight-up family circus, and every message made it clearer that these sisters are not on peaceful terms right now. Tamar kept going, saying, "I'm celebrating with my friends and not bothering a soul. You did it to be mean, like we don't talk. Happy birthday to me anyway. Love you too." And that right there showed everyone how deep the tension really runs. These two have been struggling for years, and the back and forth has never truly stopped, so Tamar calling Toni out now, especially over money, honestly isn't shocking at all. But what is surprising is the idea that Toni Braxton would even need to make a move like this in the first place. She's a legend, a full music icon, someone people look at as certified superstar status. You wouldn't expect someone with her resume to be dealing with any kind of financial mess behind the scenes. But the truth is, Toni has a long and complicated history with money problems. And once you start connecting the dots, everything begins to make sense real quick. Back in the 90s, Toni was everywhere, hit after hit, platinum albums, sold out shows. She was making major money and dominating the charts. But somehow, she lost almost everything not once, but twice. Her first bankruptcy filing was in 1998, and it shocked the entire industry. People couldn't understand how someone that successful, that visible, that iconic could suddenly be broke. She was at her peak, so when that news hit, it hit extremely hard. And things didn't magically get better from there. The financial problems followed her for years, and instead of quieting down, they grew louder. Headlines got harsher, the press went wild, and the stress started taking a real toll on her career and personal life. One moment, she was on the top of the world. And the next, she was fighting to rebuild after one financial disaster after another. Nobody expected what came next. But at one point, Toni even sat down with Oprah to clear the air, and the whole thing went left fast.
She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me. And immediately, she made me feel this big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
Oprah started asking real questions about her spending habits and pointed out some of the choices that helped create the debt in the first place. Instead of breaking it down and taking accountability, Toni shut down completely. She got emotional, said Oprah was being mean, and put herself in the victim spot. The whole interview felt uncomfortable to watch, and what was supposed to fix her image ended up making things look even messier. Toni did manage to bounce back after that first bankruptcy, though, and for a minute it looked like things were finally stabilizing. The music was still flowing, the spotlight was still on her, and everyone thought she had finally gotten her footing again. But that peace didn't last long at all. The problems crept right back in. In 2010, she filed for bankruptcy again, and this time the situation was even more serious. According to reports, Toni claimed her debts were somewhere between $10 million and $50 million, which had everyone stunned all over again. She said the breaking point came when her Las Vegas residency got canceled right after she was diagnosed with a serious heart condition, and that shutdown hit her finances hard. But that wasn't the only issue piling up around her. Behind the scenes, there were business deals falling apart, management problems, and more money slipping through the cracks than anyone realized. By the time everything caught up to her, the financial hole was massive. And it set the stage for all the drama she's facing today. There were insurance problems popping up, messy fights over what was covered, and a whole mountain of unpaid taxes stacking in the background. It felt like one issue hit right after the other, and eventually her entire financial situation collapsed again. Since then, Toni has been trying to keep herself steady, but the numbers are telling the real story loud and clear.
I think it's when I was first diagnosed with having lupus, I was so down, I was so depressed, and the doctors told me I would never be able to work again, your music career's over. But the man upstairs that had a whole other plan for me.
The music just hasn't been landing the way it used to. Her last album barely moved around 7,000 copies and only reached number 163 on the Billboard 200, which shocked a lot of people since she used to dominate charts with no effort. The project before that didn't do much better, pulling in around 16,000 copies. And for someone with her legacy, those numbers were a major warning sign. With album sales dropping hard, most of her income ended up coming from the Braxtons' reality show. But even that started slowing down. The buzz wasn't the same, the ratings dipped, and without big press moments or new music making noise, the pressure behind the scenes kept building. And that's when fans started asking the serious questions. Was her connection with Birdman really about love? Or was it about survival? Because the timing had people raising eyebrows. Right when rumors started spreading that Toni might be heading toward another bankruptcy filing, she suddenly popped back up next to Birdman. And this was after years of them being completely separated, barely speaking publicly, and giving no sign they'd ever reconnect. So when she reappeared with him out of nowhere, the timing caught fans off guard instantly. People couldn't help wondering if this was a real reunion or if Toni was trying to secure stability at a moment when everything around her seemed to be falling apart again. It felt way too convenient, and now a lot of fans are convinced this wasn't about some sweet old romance coming back. It was a full strategy move. When everything around Toni seemed to be sliding downhill, reconnecting with Birdman might have been less about love and way more about survival. And let's be real for a second. The timing was wild. When Toni and Birdman suddenly popped back up together in 2023, everybody got whiplash.
Okay, you're engaged.
I'm engaged. He did good, right?
He did well, all right? Very well. Take a day.
She had spent years saying they were done for good. No mixed signals, no maybe one day, nothing. She made it clear there was zero chance of a reunion. So when she flipped the whole script and started getting close to him again, fans instantly felt like something didn't line up. And now that Tamar is speaking out and airing the mess publicly, people are starting to match the pieces together. Even before this latest drama exploded, fans had already been side-eyeing this strange energy between Toni and Birdman. A lot of folks picked up on it after that super uncomfortable interview she did with Tamron Hall back in 2022. If you remember, Toni was on the show to talk about her lupus diagnosis. It was supposed to be a soft, emotional conversation. But the second Tamron mentioned Birdman's name, everything switched up instantly. Toni froze, she barely made eye contact, and the vibe in the room turned tense in a split second. You didn't need a body language expert. Anyone watching could see something was off. Her whole mood shifted, and it left fans wondering if there was something going on behind the scenes that she didn't want to talk about. And now, with all this new drama coming out through Tamar, people are starting to think they weren't imagining anything at all. It felt like whatever was happening between them was nowhere near as perfect as they wanted people to believe. But things got even crazier because according to Tamar, Toni allegedly sold her engagement ring from Birdman back in the day to handle some serious debts, and then told everyone it was lost. And remember how big that moment was? Back in 2018, when Birdman proposed, he brought out that massive yellow diamond ring, supposedly worth around $5 million. It was flashy, dramatic, and had the whole internet talking. For a moment, it looked like they were heading towards some fairy tale type ending. But then everything went quiet. No wedding updates, no real plans, nothing. The wedding kept getting pushed back. First delayed, then postponed, then basically forgotten. Toni kept saying it was a timing issue, but fans weren't buying that at all. The whole situation felt off. Then came the biggest red flag. The ring magically disappeared. Toni said she accidentally left the ring inside a bag on a flight. And while the bag came back, the ring was gone. People were confused, but they let it go at the time. Well, now, Tamar is allegedly saying something totally different. She's claiming Toni didn't lose that ring at all. According to what Tamar is hinting at, Toni allegedly pawned it to cover debts she couldn't get under control. And honestly, that wouldn't shock anyone. Toni's history with money has always been unsteady, and plenty of people in the industry have said she's been in a tight financial spot for a while now. If things were really that serious behind the scenes, she might have needed fast cash, and she might have made a move she thought nobody would notice. The word going around is that Toni did what a lot of people do when they're desperate and running out of options. But now that Tamar is speaking out, the whole story is spilling into the open fast. She allegedly sold the most valuable thing she had at that time, that $5 million engagement ring, just to stay afloat. And now fast forward to the present. And it looks like Tamar wasn't the only one Toni may have tried to pull a move on. According to reports, Toni filed for divorce from Birdman just 2 weeks after they secretly got married, and she claimed they separated only 2 days after the wedding. But here's the part that had everybody staring at the screen in shock. Multiple sources say Toni allegedly tried to walk away with a $160 million divorce payout. Think about that for a second. Married for less than a month, together for just days, and already pushing to walk out with a huge piece of Birdman's empire. Fans were stunned. Some people called it strategic. Others said it looked like straight gold digger behavior. She take my money energy. But either way, the numbers weren't adding up, and the internet wasn't letting it slide. People began asking if this whole situation was something she planned from the jump, a way to escape the financial hole she'd been stuck in for years. So the real question now is this: was any of it truly about love, or was Toni chasing a comeback through a huge payout? Because walking out of a marriage after 2 days and aiming for millions left fans confused, suspicious, and wondering if this was a survival play disguised as a relationship. Everything around Toni's life has been looking more complicated than anyone realized, and this divorce situation only made the spotlight on her finances even brighter. $160 million? That's the part nobody can wrap their mind around. The whole situation feels off. Like, how do you step out of a marriage that fast and still feel entitled to that kind of fortune? It makes people wonder if something deeper was going on behind the scenes, something Toni hasn't said out loud. A lot of fans are now saying this never looked like a real love story, and it looked like a setup from day one. And the truth is, Toni has been looking extra desperate for cash lately, and the numbers just don't make sense anymore. It feels bigger than a simple financial struggle. Almost like there's some heavy chaos happening in the background that she's trying to keep quiet. At this point, it's hard not to question what's really going on. And now that Toni's own bank has reportedly confirmed bankruptcy concerns, it's not just Tamar taking shots. There might be actual proof that the money problems are real. It's starting to look like Tamar isn't just defending herself. She might be exposing real receipts out here. And if Toni really tried to finesse her own sister on top of everything else, that's not just messy. That's betrayal on a completely different level. Because if she's willing to pull something like that with her own family, imagine what she would try with anybody else. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. This drama is nowhere near done, and the fallout is about to get even louder. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and share your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.